What if I told you World War III almost started, just 5 years after World War II ended? In 1950, the world was exhausted from global war. But on June 25, everything exploded again. North Korean forces stormed across the 38th parallel, invading South Korea with tanks and artillery. Within days, Seoul fell. The world watched in shock as a new conflict ignited, one that would pull in superpowers and push humanity to the edge of nuclear disaster. The Korean War wasn't just a civil war. It was the first major battlefield of the Cold War. After Japan's defeat in World War II, Korea had been split in two. The North was backed by the Soviet Union and later Communist China. The South was supported by the United States and its allies. Two ideologies. Two governments. One peninsula. And neither side was willing to give it up. When the North invaded, the United Nations, led mainly by the United States under President Harry S. Truman, intervened to defend the South. American General Douglas MacArthur launched a daring amphibious landing at Incheon, turning the tide of the war. UN forces pushed the North Koreans all the way back, almost to the Chinese border. And that's when China entered the war. Hundreds of thousands of Chinese volunteers flooded across the Yalu River, driving UN forces back in brutal winter fighting. Temperatures dropped below freezing. Soldiers froze in their trenches. Entire units were surrounded. The front lines seesawed back and forth, and at one point, General MacArthur even suggested using nuclear weapons. The war had become a terrifying standoff between nuclear-armed powers. For 3 years, the fighting dragged on with devastating casualties. Cities were reduced to rubble. Millions of Korean civilians were killed or displaced. Families were permanently divided. And yet, despite the bloodshed, neither side achieved total victory. In 1953, an armistice was signed, not a peace treaty. The border was essentially reset near the original 38th parallel. Technically, the war has never officially ended. Today, North and South Korea remain divided by one of the most heavily fortified borders in the world, the demilitarized zone. A frozen conflict. A reminder that the Cold War's first hot war never truly cooled down. The Korean War is often called the Forgotten War. But it reshaped global politics, militarized the Cold War, and set the stage for decades of tension in East Asia. And for a few terrifying moments, it nearly became the war that ended the world.